Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on January 11th, 2017. And this show started off with Asuka basically coming into the arena, and someone was trying to get a quick word. It's like, so who do you think your opponent at San Antonio is going to be? And she immediately gets interrupted by Billie Kay, and then gets attacked by Billie Kay. They start brawling, and Peyton Royce jumps in there as well, and they both attack Asuka and basically get the advantage as well, leaving her laying and embarrassed. They pour a drink over her head, and you see Asuka and you'll see different stuff with Asuka throughout the entire night. Like they're building the story towards her particular match. But right after this, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce went up against a couple of locals for their match. Of course, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce basically gain the advantage and do get the win rather quickly in a squash match. Asuka comes out completely like belligerent and angry over what had happened outside. She comes down to the ring and does get double teamed and eventually get beaten down by them. Nikki Cross comes out to make it almost feel like she was going to be making the save for Asuka. She chases off Billie Kay, and Peyton Royce is on the second rope as Asuka gets up to want to go after Peyton Royce and Billie Kay again. Nikki Cross turns around and does the missile drop kick off the second rope, taking out Asuka. And they show it throughout the entire night with her being absolutely furious in the backstage area and everything in that sense. Like they were showing a different side of Asuka. Kind of a different side of Asuka, because Asuka's always come off as like a nonchalant, confident, and if she gets angry, it's like another way of showing her confidence. This was like a complete, like, frustrating moment for her and how she was coming off throughout the entire night. You also have a quick promo from Nikki Cross saying that they were going to take. It's kind of like where Sanity's been going. They said they're going to take all their opportunities, take everything that they want, and everything in this sense. So this just plays off of that a little bit. Big Damo was also in the background for this one. He was kind of ominously waiting as they walk by. So I guess he's officially not part of Sanity at this point in time, but I guess it's kind of like he's in the weights, or maybe he's even in the weights of trying to get rid of Sanity or something like that. We don't necessarily know where Big Damo is at this point in time with everything he wants to do. Up next was Elias Sampson going up against, another local talent in this one, where Sampson basically goes over in a squash match. You got this for the most part here. You got one decent match and one really good match at the end of the show. But for the most part, the matches were more there as filler, with the exception of the main event, than it was for necessarily being like there as it was like filler to the promos going into NXT Takeover San Antonio, because they're kind of having to fast track some of these feuds now to be able to get them set up for the actual NXT Takeover event. Up next, you had Andrade Cien Almas going up against ONeill Orchid. They were playing this one off of one of the house, like a rematch from one of the house shows, I think in Osaka, or it might have been Melbourne. I don't really remember which one it was, but one of those two that they had taped most recently that they had shown on the network. Almas wins this match, and I thought this was a pretty decent match between the two of them. I think ONeill Orchid's always been putting on at least relatively good matches throughout the entire time he's been there. But these two, I think, put on a pretty decent match. And the one thing that I definitely like is the tendencies and how Andrade Cien Almas acts as a heel. Like, I love the aspect that he just kind of lays there casually, and he almost plays it off as like semi-flamboyant to go along with it, but not really that. He's just like in a casual mode at any given time during most of his matches, and I just like how he comes off as a heel. He cut a promo at the end of this match, which I thought was a pretty good one as well. It was a little bit of mixture of Spanish and him mocking the crowd for not understanding when he was talking Spanish as well, so it came off rather well. I liked how, like I said, I have been enjoying Cien Almas a lot more since he's been a heel and since he's kind of changed up a few of his things to go along with it. So, yeah, none of that segment to go along with it. Up next, you had a Nakamura promo, and this promo was fine for what it was. Shinsuke kind of keeps his promos short and sweet. He doesn't really talk too much during his matches, and of course he's asked about Bobby Roode and everything in that sense. He talks about him being like a good competitor and everything in that, and then it's like Tom Phillips was like, well, I couldn't get a word from Bobby Roode or anything like that, but he gave me this to hand to you, and the thing he handed to him was a ticket from the NXT Takeover Dallas. And the only answer that you get from Shinsuke Nakamura is like, he kept this? Kind of like a question mark, is like, what is this actually symbolizing? But if you do play off the storyline, it was the first time Bobby Roode was seen on NXT television in any way, shape, or form, and it was also the first show that Shinsuke Nakamura showed up and had a match in. So you play off of that a little bit to go along with it. And this leads into the main event of the night, which was the Revival going up against DIY in a rematch for the WWE NXT Tag Team Championships. What can you say? These guys put on pretty much a match of the year candidate in Toronto, so they couldn't really match that all that much. But they put on a damn good match here, a good showing of tag team wrestling once again on both sides here, and I thought they just put on a really, really, really good match between the two of them, between both teams, and it just came off rather well. DIY does go over in this case, and you kind of assume that because we already knew that the Authors of Pain were going to get a tag team title shot here in the very near future. And matter of fact, I think they said it was going to be the winner of this match goes up against the Authors of Pain and everything in that sense. So as DIY was celebrating in the match, the Authors of Pain music hits. Paul Ellering comes out there, and the Authors of Pain attack from behind and basically lay out DIY. This leads into a backstage segment, which I don't know why they make an announcement from William Regal about the NXT Tag Team title match, because I thought they had already announced it. It was like the winners of this match would have to go up against the Authors of Pain in San Antonio, but they make it official on this one where William Regal actually says, yes, it's the Authors of Pain versus DIY at San Antonio. And then at the end, you have an incensed Asuka come in and say, I want you to make the match at San Antonio. And William Regal asks who? And she's like, all of them. So basically setting up a fatal four-way between Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, and Asuka for the women's title. So that's how they pretty much go off the air here. So overall, this week for NXT, I thought they did a pretty good job. Obviously, some of the matches were just there as filler towards storyline, but I feel like they built story a little bit better this week versus necessarily always putting on a really good match. And obviously, the Revival match with DIY was a great match. And I liked the Cien Almas ONeill Orchid match as well. I thought it came off rather well to go along with it. But overall, this was more of a story-building episode of NXT with one decent match and one great match to go along with it, to go on the show as well. So, with that being said, everyone, that is my review for WWE NXT this week. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.